Stop scrolling right now, because the Los Angeles Lakers just got a surprise update that could completely change the direction of this playoff series. And if this actually plays out the way it's trending, Game 3 might not go the way anyone expected. Before we break this all down, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your prediction in the comments, because this is one of those moments where every take matters. All right, let's get straight into it, because this situation with the Lakers is getting very interesting, very fast. Coming into this series, the expectation was that Los Angeles would rely heavily on their core, LeBron James leading the charge, supported by a group that needed to step up in big moments. And so far, they've done exactly that. The Lakers are up 2-0, they're in control, and they've been playing with a level of confidence that you don't usually see this early in a series. But now, everything might shift with one key update: Austin Reaves. Out of nowhere, Reaves has been upgraded from out to questionable for Game 3. And if you've been following injury reports in the NBA, you already know what that usually means. When a player gets that kind of upgrade, there's a real chance he's about to suit up, and that changes everything, not just for the Lakers, but for the entire dynamic of this matchup against Houston. Now here's where things get complicated, because yes, getting Austin Reaves back is huge. This is a player who brings scoring, playmaking, and a level of composure that fits perfectly alongside LeBron. But at the same time, you have to ask the real question: is it too soon? We're talking about a grade 2 oblique strain. That's not a minor injury. That's something that usually takes time, and yet here we are, barely over 3 weeks later, and suddenly he might be back on the floor in a playoff game. That's surprising. That's risky. And depending on how the Lakers handle this, it could either be a genius move or something they regret later in the postseason. Because let's be real for a second, the Lakers don't need to rush this. They're up 2-0. They've been playing great basketball. The offense is flowing, the defense has been disruptive, and guys have stepped up in a big way. So why force Reaves back if he's not close to 100%? That's the balance the coaching staff has to figure out right now. And if he does play, the next big question becomes, what role does he come back to? In my opinion, and honestly, just based on how teams usually handle this situation, it makes the most sense for him to come off the bench in Game 3. You don't throw him straight back into the starting lineup, not after missing time, not with conditioning still being a question, and definitely not when you're likely going to have him on a minutes restriction. Bringing him off the bench allows him to ease back into the game. It lets him find his rhythm without too much pressure, and it also gives the Lakers flexibility with their rotations. You can stagger his minutes with LeBron, let both of them operate in different stretches, and then bring them together late in the game when it matters most. And that's the key here. This is not about Game 3 alone. This is about the bigger picture. This is about making sure Austin Reaves is fully ready if the Lakers advance deeper into the playoffs, where the competition only gets tougher. Now, while the Lakers are trending in a positive direction with Reaves potentially returning, you look at the other side, and things are not looking nearly as stable for the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant is once again listed as questionable. And this isn't just one injury. This is starting to stack up. You've got the knee issues, now an ankle concern, and suddenly you're looking at a situation where Houston's best player might not be at full strength, or might not even play at all. And we've already seen how unpredictable that situation can be. In Game 1, people expected Durant to play, and then he was ruled out. So heading into Game 3, nothing is guaranteed. But it's not just the injuries. There's something else going on with the Rockets right now that you can't ignore. And that's the energy, the chemistry, the overall vibe of the team. There were comments made recently suggesting that Durant needs to find ways to get more involved offensively, even when he's being double-teamed. And while that might sound like standard basketball talk, the tone of it raised eyebrows. Because, let's be honest, Kevin Durant has been one of the only reliable offensive players for Houston in this series. He's dealing with defensive pressure, he's dealing with injuries, and now he's also dealing with expectations that might not be entirely fair, given the circumstances. That's not the kind of situation you want in a playoff series, especially when you're already down 2-0. And when you compare that to the Lakers, it's night and day. Los Angeles looks connected. They look confident. They look like a team that understands exactly what they need to do to win. Their shooting has been incredible. We're talking over 50% from the field, nearly 50% from three. Those are elite numbers, especially in the playoffs. And while it's fair to question whether that level of efficiency is sustainable, the reality is this: they're getting good shots. This isn't just luck. This is execution. This is spacing. This is decision-making at a high level. And then you look at the defensive side, and that's where the Lakers have really separated themselves in this series. They've been aggressive, they've been disruptive, they've forced turnovers, especially from Durant, who had a rough time handling the pressure in Game 2. The Lakers have thrown different looks at him, blitzed him, crowded his space, and made every possession difficult. That's not something that just happens. That's a game plan being executed perfectly. And if they bring that same intensity into Game 3, it's hard to see Houston suddenly flipping the script. Now, one thing the Rockets have done well is crash the offensive glass. They've been able to generate second-chance opportunities, and that's something the Lakers need to keep an eye on. But even there, context matters. A lot of those rebounds are coming off missed shots. And when you're shooting under 40% from the field and under 30% from three, there are going to be plenty of opportunities for offensive rebounds. So while it looks like an advantage on paper, it's not necessarily translating into effective offense. And then there's the rotation decisions. Houston is considering giving more minutes to younger players, trying to find a spark. And while that might help offensively, it also creates vulnerabilities, especially on defense. The Lakers have already shown that they're willing to attack mismatches. They've targeted weaker defenders, they've exploited gaps, and they've done it consistently. So if Houston opens the door even a little bit, you can expect LeBron and company to walk right through it. Now pause for a second, because if you're enjoying this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And more importantly, I want to hear from you. Should the Lakers play Austin Reaves in Game 3, or should they wait until he's fully healthy? Drop your opinion in the comments, because this is where things get really interesting. Game 3 is in Houston. Different environment, different energy, and historically, this is where series can shift. Teams down 2-0 come back home, feed off the crowd, and suddenly everything changes. But here's the thing. The Lakers can't let that happen. They can't get comfortable. They can't assume the series is under control just because they've won the first 2 games. And if there's one player who's going to make sure of that, it's LeBron James. He's been in these situations before. He understands momentum. He understands how quickly things can turn in the playoffs. And from everything coming out of the team, it's clear that message is being reinforced. Stay focused, stay disciplined, stay hungry. Because if the Lakers approach Game 3 with the same mindset they've had so far, they have a real chance to put this series out of reach. And imagine that for a second. You go up 3-0, potentially with Austin Reaves reintegrating into the lineup, with your offense clicking, your defense locked in. That's a dangerous situation for any opponent. And it sets you up perfectly for the next round, where the competition is only going to get tougher. But none of that matters if you don't handle business now. So the question becomes simple. Can the Lakers maintain their level of play? Can they stay locked in defensively? Can they continue to execute offensively without relying on unsustainable shooting numbers? And most importantly, how does the potential return of Austin Reaves impact all of this? Because sometimes adding a player back into the lineup isn't as simple as it sounds. It changes rotations, it changes rhythm, it changes roles. And if not handled correctly, it can disrupt what's already working. But if handled the right way, it can elevate the entire team. That's the gamble. That's the decision. And we're about to see how it plays out. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Austin Reaves should play in Game 3? Do you think the Lakers will close this series early, or are the Rockets about to fight back at home? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more NBA coverage.